Welcome to the Breakthrough Success Podcast, helping you achieve that breakthrough you've always been looking for in your business. And now your host, Mark Guberti.
Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Mark Guberti, and this is the podcast for marketers and small business owners who are looking for the breakthrough for their businesses. I'm very excited about the show. We are going to discuss how to become a six-figure Udemy instructor with our guest, Joe Parys. Joe is the man behind over 60 Udemy training courses, and pretty soon it's going to be 70, 80. He just keeps on going with them. And they range from goal setting to reading music to app development, so he's got a wide array of courses. He is also a motivational speaker and entrepreneur who I'm lucky enough to welcome on the show. Joe, thanks for stopping by.
Hey, Mark, thanks. I really appreciate being on the show here and really excited for this opportunity.
I'm really excited about this whole thing too. Usually when I have someone on my show, I always start by asking what got them started. So I ask you, what exactly turned you on to Udemy and made you create courses on that platform?
Yeah, so I'd have to go back to when I was in college. I actually went to school for education. I'm a licensed history, psychology, and American government teacher. So when I saw Udemy for the first time, it kind of just piqued my interest because I saw a bunch of teachers teaching on the internet. And I thought to myself, well, I have the credentials. Why don't I give it a try? And I ran into a course where a gentleman was claiming to be earning more than $4,000 a week teaching online video courses. So literally, I just enrolled in his course. I took it step by step. And fortunately enough, looking back at it now a couple of years ago, it's really paid off. And I've been able to reach over 175,000 unique students now and just really grow the business and the academy. So it's been an amazing blessing and just very happy from where I was to where I am now.
So it's pretty clear that you're very happy that you made the decision, and looking back, you're very happy that you were able to achieve the success that you've actually achieved. But let's reverse the clock on that. So what were you thinking when you first come across this guy who says you can make $4,000 every single week creating training courses and you're just getting started? What was happening then?
So I was teaching in the classroom. I was coaching girls basketball and I absolutely loved it. And I, recently have had to quit that job to pursue my passions of teaching online full time, and I'm very grateful to have done that. However, my first, kind of moment was just kind of seeing it as a massive potential. I saw that there were thousands of students enrolling in these courses. I saw that there were a lot of these courses up, and I saw that the teaching, whether it was solid, there were some things that maybe were missing in the sense of a curriculum, how to kind of really have anticipatory sets and do some things that there's some more teacher lingo, because a lot of the teachers on Udemy didn't have exactly the credentials of going through the education system, the formal one, which is great. But I kind of saw a gap there, and I said to myself, well, maybe there's a need for some formal education structure, and why not give it a shot? And what's funny is I actually created my very first course on goal setting because that was something that I was just passionate about and had some proof and could really show potential students my own success, and it kind of just took off from there.
So you took the different approach based on, now usually when people think about learning through the education system, they think it's traditional, but you actually use that as a revolutionary approach when coming on to Udemy. Can you talk a little bit how students adapted to that process, or if it was just a smooth transition with getting the knowledge?
I think it was just easier for them when they were watching some of my videos to kind of understand where I was going with the course and kind of the overall structure. And through my whole business as well, having more co-teachers teach with me, the main thing that I do with a lot of these co-teachers is I show them an advanced structure, a curriculum, how to put together a really amazing course and what students are really looking for, because it is a student experience. We want our students to not only enjoy our courses, but want to show up to more courses, because I plan on creating more courses in the future, and I would love to see more students repeat and continue to learn different skills with us. And I think that there's a lot of value in really being able to see where the instructor wants the students to start, and then what's the end goal for the student and what they're going to really gain and how they're going to kind of transform from one spot to the other through taking the online course.
I'm happy that you mentioned the curriculum, because a lot of people who create courses would say that the curriculum is the make or break point. So the overall structure of the course will either make it very easy for you to create, present, and then participate in discussions, or it will be very difficult for you to do those things. So what advice do you have for coming up with a great course curriculum?
I would say to first kind of start with your student in mind and really become clear about the title of the course and what the end skill is going to be that the student is going to be able to learn throughout taking your course. And, being both an instructor and a student myself, I can really, I've gone through a lot of online courses and a lot of just courses in general, and I was never really the greatest when it came to formal education. And I think because I struggled with that, being an online teacher, it's really helped me become very detail oriented and really show students right at the beginning, to really think at the end in mind, right? Like Stephen Covey says in his book, begin with the end in mind. What is the outcome that the student is going to gain from this whole course? So that's definitely where I would start. And through there, I definitely like to check in with my students, especially have a few different checkpoints and really be able to have different quizzes and assignments and things where students are being reinforced through the video tutorials. And I think that that's very important to the learning process, not just to watch a video and go, okay, that was great, and then move on with your day, but actually watch the video and then get hands-on, go out and practice the skill, go out and, get out a sheet of paper and write something down. I think that that's very important to install that and have that in the curriculum. And I think that's what makes a great course an excellent one.
I like the idea of including hands-on activities, because that's like the most important thing that's going to help the students actually learn the material and apply it in their lives. And you've done a lot of hands-on stuff with Udemy too, creating all of these courses. And throughout that journey, there are a lot of high points and low points, I'm pretty sure. So what was a real low point of that journey?
Yeah, so I would definitely say the summer of 2016 here, so not too long ago, Udemy went through a pricing change. And what was interesting was us instructors, we do earn income for the courses that we create. And while that's important, it's not the overall end goal for us. However, in order for me to pursue my passion and dream of doing this and sharing all this information full time, I do need to be able to provide for myself as well. So that was definitely kind of a tough point. But however, it really made me think of putting all my eggs in one basket with Udemy when they went through this pricing change. And I think my income got cut right in half, along with almost every other instructor on the website. And I started to expand. I started to find other ways to generate income and to serve more people. So it was really a blessing in disguise, because I'm now on 4 or 5 other platforms, earning multiple sources of income. And from there, I'm also able to serve additional students who have never heard of Udemy before, but they've heard of these other platforms. So that was definitely maybe a low point. However, it definitely was a blessing in disguise.
So when you hit this low point, what was your biggest source of motivation that helped you through that hard time? And I know that you did diversify into other areas, but unlike a lot of instructors, you actually stick with Udemy and you continued creating the courses throughout that bad time. So what was your motivation that kept you in that groove?
That's a great question. I would have to say my motivation would definitely be my lifestyle goals and what I really wanted and really was willing to accept for my life. And I just had a vision that I wanted to live in a very comfortable environment and be able to wake up every day with the choice of, okay, it's time to pursue your dream. Your dream is to serve people and to teach the world and to continue to run your own business. And that's what I really, really wanted. I didn't want to have to go back to a job. I didn't want to have to find another job and work at a 9 to 5. And that was really my motivation. And there's nothing wrong with either of those. Both of my parents have been working 9 to 5s. And for myself, I was working as a teacher in the classroom myself, and I know what it's like. And I had a very great experience doing that. However, I just saw a different vision for myself. And really, I wanted that more than anything at the time. And so there really wasn't a whole lot of other options for me. But having that lifestyle goal and that motivation to really move into a new environment is what helped me get through some of the hard times online.
It's fascinating how you say that your dream lifestyle impacted a lot of the decisions that you made and helped you power through and achieve a new level of income. And it's actually funny because New Year's resolutions, that's going to take over everyone's mind right now. Them thinking, oh, let's make this year my best year ever. And you are really great at accomplishing your New Year's resolutions. Just to give my listeners an idea, I remember you posted a video last year. You had 22,000 students and you just barely surpassed 10,000 in revenue. Now, based on the beginning of the show, you said that you had 175,000 unique students. You're probably going to hit, I don't know what your goal is, but anywhere from 180,000 to 190,000 by the end of the year. So it's a crazy leap, and you've ended up making over $100,000 in revenue also within that time frame. So the question that everyone wants to know is, how exactly do you stay true to those New Year's resolutions? Because you've done it, and it's just everyone wants their dream lifestyle. So how do you make that happen?
I guess there really isn't a whole lot of secret or like a magic trick to this. I think I was just willing to stick it out no matter what. And I think when you have that mentality and mindset of, okay, my goal is to reach, I think it was in the new video that I created last year, was to reach 100,000 students and to make $100,000 to cross the six-figure barrier. And that was the goal that I set. And given all the kind of information that I had, and I knew it was a stretch. It was a big stretch actually, but provided, that's what I really wanted. I said, if that's what I could, I saw other people doing it, and I saw that this was something that I was really going to go after, and I don't care what it takes, I'm going to find a way. So it's come to pass. I think that's the biggest secret. And it's not even really a secret. It's just to be persistent and to be relentless and to just really set a goal and go, this is what's going to happen, and really just focus on that mindset. And if something doesn't go the right way, like I had some adverse times in the summer, revenue was low. It didn't look like I was going to make my goal. And I remember, saying this is unacceptable. Like, you got to find a way to make it work. Either you have to work harder, you got to find different resources, you got to expand. But either way, you got to make your goal, man. That's what you set for yourself. And that's the standard that I think a lot of people, sometimes they just let themselves off the hook and they go, oh, well, this circumstance and, this situation, or they blame other people or other things. And for me, it was the last thing that I was willing to do, because I knew that my goal was about me and serving as many people as I could. And fortunately, it's almost to the month that I was able to achieve that goal. I was actually about a month in advance, but it is pretty amazing and very grateful for the opportunity that I've had. But I would definitely just stick with it and just really set a clearly defined goal, and then accept nothing less than the best of yourself and that goal.
So basically, once you set a goal, the mindset that you take into that goal predetermines your ability to achieve that goal?
Yeah, so basically, it's amazing how the universe and your mind will start to find everything that you need in order to reach that goal once you have it kind of clearly defined. And for me, even in the middle of the summer when Udemy was my main source of income, and it seemed to be going in a very good direction, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. I found different platforms. I found different resources, and other people came to me like out of nowhere. I remember a co-teacher came to me, said that he really enjoyed one of my courses and that he'd like to work with me. And we now have one of the best-selling courses on Udemy in the subject of access. And so it's amazing how that happened. But I really do believe that if I would have gave up, or if I would have just been like, oh, I'm going to focus on something else, then it would have just not worked. It's almost like I use the analogy of like planting an acorn into the ground. And when you plant the acorn into the ground, it only has really one option, and that's to grow into an oak tree. And so if we were to take the analogy of that acorn, and that's who we are, and we only have one option is to grow into that oak tree, I really do think we would grow into a massive oak tree and we get amazing results. The problem is one day we're growing into an oak tree, the next day we're growing into a Christmas tree, the next day we're growing into something else. And it's hard to become massive and really get that result because we're growing into so many different things. So really anchor down, dig your roots in and become that one thing that you really truly want and that one defined goal. I'm telling you, it's amazing the results that you can achieve.
So having this defined goal eventually led to the universe doing everything in its power to help you achieve that goal. And while $10,000 in revenue, 22,000 students, nothing to laugh at, but now you've achieved this higher level of success selling these courses. And I'm sure you know a lot about when it comes to promoting a training course and generating sales. So what do you think is that one thing that most people get wrong when they promote their training courses to their people?
I'm a big believer in building trust when it comes to my community. And I think where a lot of people go wrong, especially when they start, is they create this amazing course. They have a lot to share, and then they go out and they expect people to just know everything about them and trust them right off the bat because they know themselves, but no one else really does. And I think the biggest thing that's really helped me, even to this day, is giving my courses away to a select amount of people and even a massive amount of people at times for free. And the reason why I do this is to build trust and is to get people to enroll with me and some of my other teachers and say, okay, look, I took a shot at this. I enrolled in this course. I really liked it. That's awesome. Well, Joe and his academy have 60 plus other courses. Maybe I'll spend, a little bit of money to enroll in another one. And it's amazing how I've built such a community now where I have this massive tribe. And in this tribe, there's a lot of different niches going on. I've kind of really built this as my own school and academy where you can learn a variety of different subjects from experts all over the world. And it's really neat to have all these different niches and tribes going on. But if I were to offer the one piece of advice, it is to really give and to really just get yourself out there and put yourself in front of as many people to start for free, because this strategy has worked really well, not only for myself, but many other instructors on Udemy and other platforms, so that you do build that trust with your community and they're willing then to continue learning with you when you create more new, fresh content.
I couldn't agree more with giving. Giving is great for building relationships, and the way I like to see it is that your free content is a preview of your paid content. But when people think about giving, what should they give? Should they give an ebook? Should they give a course? But basically the whole idea is something of value. But with this whole thing of creating courses on Udemy or choosing some other platform, I know we've sprinkled this in the interview, but what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of using Udemy versus hosting the course on your own website, and which move would you suggest?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I would say one of the advantages of working with Udemy is that they do a ton of marketing for you. Now, when I first started teaching online, this was huge for me because I didn't have a following. I didn't have a single student. I didn't have really a base of anything or anyone, no email list, nothing. And so I needed help with the marketing. I knew I had some gifts, some talents, and I knew that I wanted to share with the world genuinely, but I needed help getting that word out there. And that's where Udemy really can help a lot of people. And it's because they are willing to send out emails to their 12 million students, and they're willing to promote your courses, especially if it's a very good course. They're really willing to promote your courses. They're willing to host your course on their website for free. And that right there is really a benefit to a lot of people just getting started who don't have any experience. A disadvantage would be that for every organic sale, meaning that whoever just comes to the Udemy's website, clicks on your course and enrolls, Udemy does take 50% of that sale. However, I look at it as something where, well, I wasn't generating that traffic. I wasn't driving that traffic anyway. So any amount of money is just a gift. And I'm able to remarket to those students through Udemy's own email list and potentially earn more as well. Another thing I would discuss about hosting on your own website, the benefit is you get to earn 100% of your revenue. That's great. So if somebody clicks on your website and then they go to your own hosted course, well, then you make all of the money that way. So that's the benefit. And then you can also charge more depending upon how much you want your course to be. Udemy does chunk us into about from $10 all the way to $200. So we can't charge any more than that. So that is kind of a disadvantage. However, when you host on your own website, you have to drive all the traffic. You have to build a massive email list. And then from there, you don't get a reinforcement that Udemy gives you by enrolling students in their course. So what Udemy does, and what's been really powerful to my own success, is every single time I get a student to enroll, I can remarket to them to another course. And also Udemy sees that there's a lot of students, there's a lot of engagement in this course. We're willing to put that course higher on their website, make it more visible. And when it's more visible, you then get a better chance of organic traffic, meaning somebody just lands on it just by going to udemy.com. And then from there, they're more willing to enroll in the course, and that you just have a better chance of being visible. So those are kind of some of the give and takes. But I really, and then this is why I'm a really big fan of Udemy, is the fact that they're willing to help amazing teachers and amazing people who have things to share, give them that visibility and to really build something special.
You mentioned the idea of positive reinforcement, which is basically if you get enough sales for your Udemy courses, Udemy is going to help you more and promote your courses more. So getting those initial sales is really important. And I know that there are certain tweaks that you can make to a course in order to boost its conversion rate. So what are some of the tweaks you have made in your courses that have resulted in significant increases in sales?
That's a great question. I think that the tweaks that I make are based upon student feedback. And so Udemy has a review system where students can go in and review your course, which I think is wonderful because that's the feedback that you really want as an instructor. So when they post their reviews and they say, oh, I really liked videos 1, 2, and 3, but in video 4, I just didn't understand where you were going. So from there, I would go, okay, well, if I'm seeing that consistently, like 9 out of 10 students are saying video 4 just doesn't make sense, then I'm going to go in and tweak video 4 to make sure that my message is clear. So having that student feedback is very, very important. And also being open to student feedback. I think a lot of instructors can sometimes take this feedback the wrong way and see it as something where the student is attacking them and being very critical of their work. But for me, it's more of like, I'm just looking to learn and share as well, because as an educator, I know that I'm not perfect. I know that I probably could do a better job communicating my messages, and I'm learning and growing with everyone here in the course as well. So if you kind of have that team mindset and attitude that we're all in this together, I think that you can make some amazing changes based upon student feedback.
Looking at student feedback will definitely help out instructors who've been at it for a while to get more sales, and it's also going to help them get less refunds as they change up their courses based on the feedback. But what about the person listening to this right now who they're just hearing about Udemy for the first time? They're thinking about putting a course up there, but they're still trying to get a grip of how it all works. So what is a tweak that people can use even if they don't have any student feedback just yet?
I think that really what's important with if somebody's just getting started, they want to put their first course up there and they really are unsure of any sort of feedback at all. I would just continue to create more and more videos and just get better at the video creation process. I know the first time I created a video, I used a PowerPoint presentation, screen capture, and a microphone. And that was it. You didn't even see my face. And so I was an amateur, to say the least, at the video process, the video creation process. And so that's something that I really wish, and it would have escalated the process even quicker for me, is to have that kind of down. And the only way to really gain that experience, though, through my own experience, is to do it, and is to buy a microphone, to get out there and to understand how screen capturing works, to try it out for yourself. And that's the best way to learn, is through doing. So if there's anything that I can really offer somebody who's never heard of Udemy before, is thinking about creating online courses but has no experience, is just to get out there and start doing it. Go to udemy.com, sign up to become an instructor, start creating your first course, buy your microphone, create your first video, see what happens. And from there, just kind of keep taking it one step at a time.
So as people come out with more videos for their courses and they eventually publish their course, or they're at that stage where they're just about ready to publish, what usually happens is people know what they put into the course, but then they have difficulty explaining it in such a way that people know exactly what this course is about, and also how can they actually convert this into sales. So how do you write course descriptions that get more sales?
Tailor it to their own style and their own course.
So let's say that now you have the great course description, you're getting sales, you might be attracting some students through free coupons. Now what you want these students to do is engage within your course, ask questions, do the activities. How exactly do you make that happen?
I think the biggest thing is just being genuine in the course, and really coming from a frame of helping the student the best that you can. I know that you can't force somebody to watch your videos. You can't force somebody to do the activities and to engage. And even when I taught in the classroom, there would be students who would come in every day and they would choose to do nothing. And it was frustrating as a instructor, as a teacher. But what you really can focus on as an instructor is just to be the best that you can be. And I think that's where you really need to put your focus, and, create more videos, better videos for the course. Be excited about what you're teaching. I think that really comes across in the teaching. I know that when I was literally in college, I would go to some of these classes and I just wasn't engaged at all, because the teacher would just stand up there and lecture and just wouldn't be passionate about what they are teaching. They're just going through the motions, and you can feel that. So as an instructor, I wouldn't focus as much on like, oh my gosh, are my students engaged? Like, what's going on? I would just focus more on the teaching myself and how much I can really give and share, and just being the best and the most passionate teacher on the subject that I can. And then from there, really the engagement will take care of itself.
You have gone through a lot of twists and turns in your journey, and as we approach the end of each episode, I just have a few questions that I ask each guest. So the first one being, what is the best lesson you have learned throughout your journey?
I guess the best lesson I've learned is just to never give up and to really set goals. It's really done some amazing things in my own life. And that's why I've created a course, 2 courses actually on this. And I track my goals. I literally create videos. And there's a video I created on January 1st last year stating and showing this is, to keep myself accountable and also to inspire people. I know that if I was watching that video, I would want to know, hey, did this Joe guy actually meet his goal? Oh, he did? Wow, that's pretty incredible. What did he do? How was he able to do it? Oh, he has a whole course on that? Well, that's interesting. I would like to learn. So that's something that I would really say has been really helped me throughout this entire journey.
It's really interesting that you say you posted the video. I want to quickly sidetrack and talk about that because I talked about how I saw the previous video of you of 22,000 students, 10,000 in revenue. I saw it when it came out, but then it wasn't ingrained into my mind. I just happened to go back to one of your courses. I saw that same video and I was like, wow, he accomplished his goal. Nice work. But then I just thought right now, wow, you had the courage to put that video up before you had any idea of how you were going to accomplish that goal. How did you get the confidence or willpower to make that happen, where you just say, I'm going to post this video now and everyone's going to know about my goals for the new year?
Yeah, I mean, it took a tremendous amount of faith. I think that I do myself have a tremendous amount of faith, and that's come through years of self-development and personal development. I read a book a month, if not more. I personally am always trying to reach new heights, stretch, grow, challenge myself. And that's because I just am really inspired by helping people and using my life as an example for the results that I'm getting. And I know this personally, whenever I watch somebody that's getting results that I want, like traveling the world and running their own business and, serving thousands of people, that just really resonates with me. So I really think that it's important to model what it is that I'm doing and preaching. And that's why I kind of was able to muster up that courage and go, look, Joe, if you want people to follow you, if you want people to be on board with your work and to enroll in your stuff and, have them come to you, you've got to be willing to give and put yourself out there and really just, if you make yourself look like like a fool and you don't reach your goal, then you don't. But at least you put yourself out there and you're honest with people and you're really transparent. So if my goal didn't, manifest itself, I would have been transparent about it, and I would have been able to look back and go, where did I go wrong? Where did I, quote unquote, not meet the expectations? And it would have been a great learning lesson. And I would have been a great learning lesson for everyone that was following along as well. I think that every kind of bump in the road is really just meant to push you in the right direction to get you right back on track and on the right path.
You've provided a lot of insights throughout this episode. You've talked about, especially just now, modeling other successful people who are at that level that you are trying to reach. Is there any other advice you could think of for entrepreneurs who are trying to reach that breakthrough, whether it be selling a certain number of training courses, creating a certain number of training courses, or just accomplishing something that has nothing to do with a number?
I think the biggest thing that I really am focusing on, even myself, for the new year coming up here, 2017, is having a very clear vision. Just like getting clarity about what you really want, whether that's lifestyle, whether that's business, whether that's just anything. And what happens from there is it doesn't even matter if it's insane. Like if it's just like an insane goal or like an insane lifestyle where you just want to like travel all over the place and have multiple sources of income. I mean, people are doing this. And so just get very clear with what it is that you want. And from there, the universe will take care of you. And then you really just have to get emotionally involved in this idea. I wake up every day and I'm so excited because I literally am just emotionally involved in what I really want. And there's no lack of energy. There's no like, oh man, like I have to work today. Like, oh my goodness. And there's, no lack of motivation because I'm going after what it is I really want. I'm very clear about what I want. I'm very clear about the lifestyle that I want. And from there, there really is no lack of motivation because I'm choosing the lifestyle and the things that I'm going after. So there's no one to be like, okay, well, you're choosing this or choosing that, or you're in this circumstance. No, I'm making that choice. This is what I want. And I believe that I deserve to have it and that I can get it. And we all deserve to live really just an amazing life. And life is short. So why not live the life that you want?
I couldn't help but think of this whole idea of the clear vision that you mentioned earlier. And I was just wondering, how clear do you go with your visions? Do you just write a list of all the things you want to do by the end of the year? Or do you create that list and identify what work you have to do each day? Or as you said before, do you let the universe figure that out and you just write down what you want by the end of the year?
I mean, the biggest thing for me is I'm a very visual person. So literally, and this is so crazy that we're talking about this, I'm a big believer in vision boards. But it's not even as much as like creating the vision board that does it. It's becoming emotionally involved in what it is that's on the vision board. So just creating a vision board and putting a bunch of pictures up there isn't going to help you achieve your goals. What is going to help you achieve your goals is when you look at that vision board and you see that beautiful beach in, Hawaii that you've never visited, and you just imagine yourself toes in the water and you're just, it's 80 degrees and sunny. And you go, wow, that's going to be amazing. And you feel amazing in that moment. That's when everything starts to shift. I really don't know how else to put it, but you'll attract the right people into your business. You'll have a breakthrough idea that'll just make sense. Something will just come right in front of you, and you'll just be able to act on it. And it's amazing how I even took this a step further. I made a Word document and I put a bunch of pictures of a luxury high-rise apartment that I wanted to live in. And I put all these pictures of the pool, all these different things, right? Like the views, like everything. And what's kind of crazy about this is I actually didn't end up living in the building that I put all these pictures up, because the building itself was just kind of like a template. It was like, all right, this is the great vision that I'm looking for, right? This is pretty close. But I went to that building. I literally went to that exact building that I went to in those pictures. And for some reason, it just didn't end up working out. It was an amazing building, but it wasn't right. It just didn't fit. However, what did fit was the vision of the high rise and the lifestyle and everything else. And so by involving my senses and by working with the right people, literally, I went into one of these buildings and someone said, "Hey, Joe, you probably need a broker if you're looking to move into a high rise." And I never thought of that before. And I said, "Hey, maybe you're right." So I had a broker take me to a bunch of these places, and I ended up moving into a brand new building. I'm the only person living on my floor, which is incredible. Like literally the whole 20th floor is to myself. It's a luxury high rise right in the heart of the city, and it's incredible. So I was able to attract that into my life, but I had a very clear understanding of what I wanted. And whether it's a specific building or not, it was a luxury high rise. That's what I wanted. So that's what I got. And the universe will always deliver what you want. It's based upon fundamental principles that anyone and everyone is really using on a daily basis.
That was very inspirational, the whole vision board, but also you could literally achieve anything you want if you believe in your ability to achieve it. In this strand of motivation, I ask you, what is one awesome motivational quote that you can think of right now?
Yeah, definitely. I think that one quote that's really resonated with me and it's really stuck out in my mind, is that this is a quote by Jim Rohn, and he said that formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. And I'm really a big advocate of self-education. I feel like we go to school, we graduate, and then we get a job. And then for most people, they don't continue to work on themselves and they don't continue to self-educate themselves. And I think that if you take self-education seriously, there's amazing paybacks in your future. Maybe not instantly, but I'm telling you, from all the books that I've read, from all the motivational speaking seminars that I've gone to, from all the video courses that I've created, everything compounds itself. And if you just take it a step at a time and look, I don't have to get amazing results right now, but in 2 or 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, I'm going to have everything that I could ever want and life is going to be amazing. It's going to be really motivational to you. It'll help you push past that moment where you're reading the book and you're like, gosh, I just don't want to read this book. I can't see the payoff. But if you have that long-term vision and that goal, it'll help push you past the maybe a couple of those little adverse moments that you have.
Joe, that was some really motivational stuff right there. Just the whole idea of self-learning. And it's something that I do a lot, and I know all my listeners are doing that too, just by listening to this episode. So before we conclude this episode, I want to give Joe the opportunity to let all of us know where we can find him on the web. The floor is yours, Joe.
Yeah, so I've made this hopefully as simple as I can for as many people, and that is you can really just find me on my own website, which is www.joeparys.com. That's JoeParys.com. You can also find me if you just Google search my name, Joe Parys. Literally, you will see a bunch of different Udemy courses of mine. You'll see a bunch of different other courses and programs, and that will be a very easy way for you to find me as well. You can find me on Udemy.com. All you have to do is type in my name into the search feature, and you'll see my profile and all my different courses. You can also find me on Skillshare.com. You can find me on Skillsuccess.com. And you can also find me on stackskills.com. And I think that's about it for right now. But we're continuing to grow. So definitely check out my website, www.joeparys.com. I also do have a YouTube channel. You can find me on YouTube. Just type in Joe Parys. My YouTube channel is just Joe Parys. And I'm the founder of the Joe Parys Academy. So you'll see me, and then you'll see me kind of introduce my co-teachers, and then they'll go ahead and do a lot of the teaching, and then there'll be classes where it's just me as well. So there's a great variety, and I look forward to seeing everybody who's listening, hopefully in some of my classes very soon.
All of those links will be within the show notes of this episode. Joe, it was such a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Thanks, Mark. I really appreciate this opportunity, and I really appreciate the invite as well.
I thoroughly enjoyed that interview. I don't know about you, but I feel pumped about creating more Udemy courses. I also feel pumped to set high goals for myself that I publicly state. Then, as Joe discussed in the interview, the universe will somehow work in magical ways to make those goals happen. If you forgot to take notes, then don't worry. We've got you covered with the show notes. Visit markgilberti.com/E19 for those. You can ask your questions over there, which I'll be more than happy to answer. To never miss an episode, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on whatever player you are using. If you are a regular listener and haven't done so already, I would greatly appreciate it if you could give this podcast a review or a rating. Two ways you could do this are through markgilberti.com/iTunes or markgilberti.com/Stitcher. That ends this episode. Don't forget, dream big, achieve greatness, and unlock your potential today. If you like my podcast, then you will definitely love my YouTube channel. Not only do I publish my podcast episodes on YouTube, but I also publish multiple YouTube videos every week in which I answer your questions and provide additional advice. To get more information on that channel and to subscribe to that channel, go to youtube.com/MarkGuberti.
This podcast is a production done by Mark Guberti. For more insights, head on over to markguberti.com.